and then we can kind of get started. Perfect. So now that we're recording, um, let me make sure everyone can still see my screen perfectly.
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So let's get started. So the first thing I want to show you guys is really, we're going to start with your property management system being Room Master. So we have a nice little cheat sheet here at SHR to kind of let us, it allows us to basically know how Room Master is going to connect to us. So currently at the moment, Room Master is a 1.5-way communication system or property management system. What that means is that reservation syncs are going to come from CRS to PMS. The PMS will send reservation responses. So any sort of reservation that gets booked from the designated channel will flow up to the PMS. The PMS will indicate to us that it was received through a PMS ID number, and that'll get sent right back into Windsurfer, and we'll show you what that looks like on the reservation section in Windsurfer. Also, there is inventory sync from PMS to CRS. You've got rate value sync from PMS to CRS, and then there's restriction sync from PMS to CRS. So one of the things I do want to point out to you guys is rate codes do not populate from PMS to CRS. So if there are any rate codes that you do want to have built, any new rate codes and rate values that you want built, you do need to make sure to have it built in both systems. And it's also best to also reach out to your account manager and or our technical support team to make sure that it's mapped appropriately. That way the rate value is flowing as it should.
So I thought if you make any changes in Room Master, to retail or advanced purchase or discounts, that those would flow seamlessly to Windsurfer, but it was just packages, promotions that would not. So is it all of those?
So your value, the rate value will flow over to Windsurfer. So that number and value flows over it. The rate code does not. So rate codes do not populate. So they do need to be built in both systems.
Okay.
So
she can change the rate on rack and that flows through. But if she added a discount to sell or a package to sell, she would need to load it in both places.
That's correct. Yep, that's
okay.
correct.
Well, and then is there something we need to? Is there something we need to do to link those two so that the systems understand that it's the same thing?
So as long as it's a new rate code that's built on the Windsurfer side, the cool thing about it is Windsurfer will automatically map it. Do know that if you are adjusting a rate code, so say you already have an advanced rate code that's in the system and you're adjusting the rate code, you do need to inform your market manager or your CSM and or your support, our support team, to let them know to double check the mapping process to make sure that they're flowing. Because any adjustments to existing rate codes in the system, a lot of times those do not get changed in the mapping process. So we have to manually go in and do it.
Okay, because I just made a change to an advanced purchase to do a bigger discount, but it still has not mapped it hasn't pushed that into the OTAs yet. I changed it to have a 5-day lead time and a 15% discount, but it's still set up as a 14-day 10% discount.
Okay, let's look at that right now. Perfect example. So which rate code is that?
Hold on, let me log in and get you the rate code. Sorry, if it were a Marriott question, I know it off the top of my head, but I'm not as familiar with these.
Okay. So if you want to send me over that rate code, I'll take that rate code and I can go in and kind of provide the steps to show you if it's adjusted, and we can also do a resync as well.
That would be awesome.
We'll take that offline. If you want to get me that rate code, we'll definitely I'll look into it for sure.
Nope, I will have it for you in like 2 seconds.
Perfect. So guys, any other questions on the property management system?
Okay, so just so I understand, if we make rate changes are fine, but anything else, like she was saying, if they need to change a commission, if they need to change a lead time on a rate, if they need to change, that has to be, we don't necessarily have to change it in Windsurfer, but we just need to reach out to our market manager to make sure that it is mapped properly if we make changes like that.
Correct. So commissions are a little bit different because commissions are going to be on the OTA side.
Okay.
So.
Oh, and the rate code is ABBP.
ABBP.
Adam, Doug, Victor, Pike.
Doug, ADVP. Okay, check. So commissions are on the OTA side. Those are not done through the CRS. So definitely double check with the designated OTAs, because that's how they're basically getting their portion of the reservation. In the CRS, we are actually taking what was in the PMS as a rate value inventory, and we're pushing it out to those OTAs. Content for the OTAs, commissions for the OTAs, it's all managed on the OTA side of things. Okay. So let's double check this rate code while we're in here. ADVP. So it looks like the advanced purchase is 14 days. Does that look correct?
No, I changed it to a 5-day.
Say that one more time. You said it was supposed to be
5
days. Perfect.
And
so
then we had changed it to a 15% as well.
For the discount?
Yes.
Okay. So let's get that adjusted right now. So you'll notice what I'm doing for discounts. All discounts in Windsurf are actually done through rate linkage. What rate linkage does is it takes a master rate code. In this case, your master rate code is bar, and it's discounting it off of the for a specific percentage to the advanced purchase rate code. So in this case, you said it was the discount 15%. So all we need to do is go in, adjust it accordingly. Then we're going to associate it to designated room types. And if all looks correct, we're going to just update it. Do know within this section as well, you do have the ability to add a value and or decrease a value. So some situations where you'd want to basically add a value is, say you have a package with a breakfast component on it, and the breakfast component, you want basically to add that component to the room rate. You absolutely have the ability to do that through this section right here. And all you would do is do the plus with the dollar amount, or if it's a percentage, you do plus percentage. To subtract, it's the negative percentage, negative dollar amount.
Can I ask, on that last screen that you were in, the description said it was 10% off. So do we need to change the description as well?
We do. So let's get that adjusted right here. And I'll switch it to 15%. Does the description look okay?
I think so. G, what do you think? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that only goes through the end of 2019. Do you see that that is not extended into 2020? Yeah, is there a limit on how far we can adjust it out, or could we have it out through 2023 or?
You totally could. So if you have, if you would like, and there's rate values added to it, we can totally extend it. I will say, if you don't fill out a designated cutoff time or end date, Windsurfer, the system will automatically extend it to 2070. So it's just kind of a build it and leave it mentality. And then it'll notify you. There's reports that you can basically pull that will notify you on expired rate codes coming up. That way you can be indicated, and we'll show you that.
So we can't change it here. It's a form we would need to fill out?
No, you can change it here.
We can?
Everything,
okay.
Yeah, everything that I'm showing you, you actually have at your fingertips. So anything can get adjusted.
Gee, would you assume we want to do it through like a much later date, like you said, like 2070 or?
Yeah, that'd be fine. I mean, I don't see why we wouldn't offer it.
Thank you.
The nice thing about this is we're going to adjust it. We'll adjust it to 2070. If you guys do want to basically modify that, absolutely come in here and you can change the dates accordingly.
So all you did when you got in here is you came up to a splash screen and you clicked on rate management, and that brought you to the screen, right?
That's correct. So I went to rate management, rate code. Once you click on rate code, this is going to be your basically rate code library. So every single rate code that is in the property management system and also built in Windsurfer lives within this library. You have the ability to search the rate code. So I just went to the top and I just searched ADVP. It brought me directly to that rate code, and then I clicked on the designated rate code, and this is what brought me to that screen.
Awesome. Okay.
So I do want to point out, since we are in that screen, this multi-channel section, this multi-channel section is going to be specifically for GDS. So with GDS, there is character limits to the description for the designated rate codes. So one of the things that I want to do is I do want to adjust, so it says advanced purchase, save up to 15% off best available rate. Let's put that down as the description for the GDS, just so the travel agents know what they're booking. And we could potentially see a little bit of an increase on this rate code on the GDS.
Awesome.
Perfect, perfect. Also, since we're in rate management, another section I do want to point out is going to be your channel control section. So the cool thing about this is you actually have the ability to channel any specific rate codes out to Windsurfer. So at the moment, your advanced purchase rate code is actually only channeled to your booking engine and TripAdvisor. Did you want to offer it on the global distribution system, the GDS?
I wouldn't see why not, would y'all?
No.
I think we want it on every shelf we could get it on.
Okay. Yeah. So all we're going to do to offer it out to that channel is we're going to check these boxes. By checking these boxes, what it's going to do is it's going to bring it up to a mapping list. The mapping list is controlled by our technical support team, and also our account management team have it as well in-house. But since I'm on the phone with you guys, I'm going to go through and I'm going to get this advanced rate code mapped. So what we're going to do is we're going to do an auto-generate. Auto-generating is actually going to populate mapping codes for this update. Now your advanced purchase rate code is mapped to the GDS. So with this list, and what I'm going to do is I'm also going to send you a screenshot of this. Take a good look at all of these rate codes. These rate codes are rate codes that you guys currently have channeled out to the global distribution. All the rate codes with rate with a pseudocode on it, or the 3-letter code on it, that means it's actually mapped over to the GDS. If it's missing, it's channeled to the GDS, but it's not mapped, so it's not bookable. So if there are any rates on this list that you would like to see mapped out there and would like to have bookable, definitely let us know. That way we can get it mapped for you. If there are any rates that you want to have removed from this list, let us know as well, and we can assist in getting them removed. And or if you want to just unchannel it, by unchanneling that rate code, it'll take it off the list.
Well, let me ask you, like looking at that masterpiece package right now. So the masterpiece package is not selling on any of the other channels if I look at that properly. Let me ask you, is there a way, can you change that name? Can you make it something different than the masterpiece package? And then if we change a name in there, does that automatically go out to those other channels, or is that something that we would have to remap?
So you can absolutely change the name. So within your rate management section, rate code, we can look at, let's look at, here's the package. The only thing that's extremely important is going to be the rate code. So this section right here, this has to have a one-to-one match to your property management system. And the reason for that is any reservations booked through this package have to have somewhere to go in the property management system. If there is not a one-to-one match in regards to the rate code, the reservation either will fail and or it will go to your default rate code, which could totally mess up reporting. So you definitely want to make sure this rate code section has that one-to-one match. The name of the package can be adjusted whatever you'd like in the system.
Okay.
Also, your description and the selling point can also be adjusted however you'd like.
Okay.
Yep. Awesome. So
now let me ask you, since the TA commission is not checked here, I'm assuming that means we are saying it's not commissionable?
That's absolutely correct. So within the rate code section, and actually within all of Windsurfer, you have the ability to determine which rate codes are commissionable and which rate codes are not. So by not checking the TA commission, it's not adding the 10% commission that is associated to that rate code. So it still could be channeled out to the GDS, and it still is bookable on the GDS once it gets mapped, but the travel agent who's booking it is not going to get a commission off of it. And do know that the GDS is within the GDS portal, it is indicated per rate codes on which rate codes are commissionable versus which rate codes are not. So the travel agents do know. So if you do want to help in regards to your GDS production, it's definitely best to kind of get some GDS rate codes that are commissionable, just to help out the travel agents and encourage them.
No joke.
Yeah. Yep.
And that commission's probably significantly cheaper than an Expedia or a Booking.com or a.
Totally. So your standard commission rate to the GDS is going to be 10%. So it's 10% off of the booking. Whereas like I used to be a market manager for Expedia, and I remember Expedia's it could be like 30%, 20, 25%, pretty high commission rates. So definitely lower. So I would encourage you guys to maybe go down the rate code list, check this travel agent commission box on any rate codes that you want. Also, if there are any rate codes that definitely need to be channeled out there, make sure that these are checked to get them channeled out to the GDS.
Awesome. Good to know.
So guys, next tab I want to focus on is going to be your property descriptions tab. So your property descriptions tab is really going to kind of be the meat and bones of the booking engine, and where your content is going to live. So the first thing that we're going to go over is going to be languages. So Windsurfer will always default to English language. Should you have any other languages that you'd like to add to the booking engine, you absolutely have the ability to do that. Do know that if you're adding a language to the booking engine, SHR Windsurfer will adjust the tabs and translate the tabs of the language. There is a portion that is on the hotel to translate as well. So that's really going to be kind of the rate code name, the rate code description, the room type name. That translation is all on the hotel, and we will adjust the main tab. So by tabs, I'm referring to, we're going to adjust the updated button and price and list. So the hard-coded features on the booking engine will get adjusted by us. So next is address and contacts. So key thing about address and contacts is going to be your geocoding section. The geocoding section is utilized for Google Hotel CPA, and it's also used for Google Maps. So that pin on Google Maps, this is where it's coming from. So if it's ever off, or if there's any sort of mismapped, and it looks a little bit off, it's probably due to the geocoding being off. So this is where you could go in, adjust it, and it'll fix that map.
That is very good to know.
Yeah, definitely. No, it's some pretty cool information, and I think a lot of hotels will get on and see that map. Just the coordinates are a little bit off. Totally easy to fix. I do also want to point out to you guys this res email. So currently right now, the email that you guys have for any notification is going to be info@themomenthotel.com. Any reservations that are coming through will be sent to that email. Should you guys want any other emails to be notified, any other email addresses to be notified on reservations, feel free to add those emails within this section, and they'll also be added to the distribution list.
Ricardo, can you ask while you're there if somebody is looking at that info@themomenthotel.com and the one down at the bottom that's gm@themoment.com, and make sure somebody's monitoring those?
Absolutely,
Elizabeth
that's Katrina. She's been sending me emails from that distribution.
From both of them?
Elizabeth has both of them as well, too.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Perfect. Guys, I do want to point out, so a lot of times when we are going through these trainings, the general manager sees their information right there and they freak out because they don't want to be contacted. This information is not distributed to guests. This is primarily utilized for the GDS. So we very much know not to give the information out to the client. So let the general manager know it's secure. His information's not going anywhere. It's just for the GDS.
Well, we don't. That general manager, I don't believe is no longer there, but we don't have a name to replace it with yet. So.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. So once you do have a name, just feel free to add it in here, and we'll get it adjusted on the GDS.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So next is going to be currency. So currently right now you guys are set for US currency. Should you accept any other currency, all you're going to do, you're going to add more currency. You're going to pick your designated currency that you want, add it. What this is going to do is this will bring it to the booking engine. This will actually allow for a drop-down menu for the guest to pick and choose the currency that they want. So if you guys do have any sort of high traffic with other sort of countries and you want to adjust the currency based on those countries, definitely recommend you to add different currencies. The next section that we'll go over is your tax section. So within taxes, you have the ability to assign a tax to a rate code. You can also assign a designated tax to a room type. Your tax overview is going to be your tax library. Within your tax overview is your tax items. So any new taxes, Windsurfer will encourage you to create a tax overview section, which will fall onto this drop-down list. And then once your tax overview is created, you can add your tax items. To add a tax items, you're going to go to add new tax item. You'll pick it from this list right here. Add your percentage, and or if it's a flat amount, you can add the flat amount. You're going to add the base on. And then any specific date. Sort order basically determines how you want the tax to sort on the booking engine. So currently right now, you guys have an occupancy tax in place. If there are any other taxes in place, feel free to come in and add them, and then you can adjust the sort according to how you want it to show. Next tab is going to be the descriptions tab. So within the descriptions tab, you're going to notice two things. You're going to notice a long description and a seamless description. The seamless description is what surfaces on the GDS. So typically what I like to do is I really like to encourage all of the hotels that I talk to really make the seamless description kind of put the hotel in the best light, because this is what the travel agent is seeing to sell the property. So you definitely want to make sure you can sell it in its best light, also while maintaining that 250 character limit. Also, selling points, it looks like you guys have a rooftop bar, which is super cool. And then there's another in the interior corridor. You guys have that as a selling point. Should you want to offer any other selling points or add any other selling points, feel free to go into this section and add that to the list. Selling points do also surface on the GDS as well. Next is going to be your rating section. So are you guys listed as a 2-star rating, or are you guys any higher?
AAA we're working on. So we're getting the application in for AAA.
Okay.
Should be
Perfect.
3, but we
3?
won't know till they inspect us.
Okay. Awesome, awesome. So once that gets adjusted, definitely go in and get this changed to 3. That way it'll reflect onto the booking engine. Another cool feature we have in this section is going to be your social media review. Should you guys want to link TripAdvisor to your booking engine, you absolutely have the ability to. And this is a cool feature because what this does is this encourages guests to basically review the property. That way you can get more reviews. How you're going to do it, you're going to go in, click TripAdvisor, you're going to add your rating, and then you're going to link the URL from your TripAdvisor page. Once you've done that, it'll basically bring that nice little TripAdvisor owl logo to your booking engine, and it'll provide a click off for guests to review.
This would be awesome, guys.
I
Definitely.
was just thinking the same thing. So we just need to get the link URL, right?
That's correct. That's
And
all we need
and
to
our
do.
rating.
Absolutely. And it is really, really cool. I mean, everybody looks at TripAdvisor nowadays, especially when it comes to hotel reviews. So it's really, really cool to kind of get those ratings and boost those ratings. And we make it very, very simple to get to. So do you guys have any questions on anything we've gone over so far? No? Perfect. So let's move on to multimedia. Your multimedia section is going to be your photo library. So these are going to be photos that are going to surface on the booking engine. They'll also surface, if you guys choose to use our call center application, they're also going to surface on the call center as well. So you do have the ability to sort photos. Currently right now, because there's no sort order, it's just going to basically populate how it is right now. So whatever photo's in one, which is going to be this photo, is going to be your first photo that populates, and then so on and so forth.
So the photo that populates is not even our hotel.
Right.
I mean, I guess
Right.
it might be the front of the hotel. So if we wanted to change that, would we just hit modify and change the sort order to take that one?
That's all you do. Yep. You modify, adjust it to whichever you'd like, and then you click update to save it.
Sarah, this is probably the only photos we actually have of this hotel, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that we are planning for a new photo shoot mid-September. But until then, this is what we got.
Okay, dokie, sounds good.
Sorry.
But at least we can go through here and look at them all. That's
Yeah,
helpful.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so is this where we go to upload the new photos once we get those as well?
This absolutely. So let me go back. Once you guys do get your new photos, you're going to basically do upload new image. You're basically going to pull the image from your desktop and then add it and add the sort order. Do know that the dimensions for the CRS is 320 by 240. It's going to say 320 by 240. It's actually double that. So double that is the new dimensions that we offer. So we do want nice, clear, crisp, big photos.
So double 320 by 240.
By 240, correct.
Double. And then
for somebody who's stupid about that.
As far as the sort order goes, is there like when I put, like if I load the front of the hotel, the bar, the this, if there's like separating out the guest room images, do I put those in a separate, like in a number one sort order, or how do you do that?
Yeah, so there's actually going to be a separate section for guest room images for the multimedia. And we'll definitely, that's going to be within the room section on Windsurfer. So these are really going to be your hotel photo specific images. So lobby, front of the hotel, anything, if there's a restaurant, that can go here. It's really just hotel specific.
Okay.
Yep. And I think there was another question. Did you guys have another question on this one? No.
Oh, I was just saying,
yeah.
I'm fairly inexperienced when it comes to the photos. So when you say double, you're saying it should be 640 times 480?
That's correct. Yep. So that's going to be the dimensions. Yep.
Sorry.
No worries.
I'm learning that piece. Sarah's the expert.
No worries. No worries. That's correct. Any other questions?
Is there a DPI like sizing that I need to have as well, or is that not a big deal?
It's not a big deal. So it's definitely not going to take that into consideration. Yeah. That's a good question.
Okay.
But yep, nope, definitely not.
Some of these big brands that I work with, they are super specific. So
yes.
I always want to clarify.
Absolutely. Absolutely understand. No, yeah, we make it very, very simple, very easy. And actually, it just needs to be within the dimension. The smallest size is the 320 by 240, and then the largest is double that. So just as long as it's within that dimension, you're golden.
We'll get it done as soon as I get them.
Absolutely. Perfect, perfect. So guys, next we're going to move on to your location section. Within the location section, this is going to surface on the GDS. This also surfaces on the booking engine as well. And I'll show you where it's going to surface. It's actually, we have 3 different forms of booking engine. So it's going to surface on version 1 booking engine, and I'll show you the different examples once we get to that. But first, let's look at your description for location. So currently right now we have your downtown property. And then we've got your long description and then your seamless description, which is surfacing on the GDS. Next is going to be your cities. So rule of thumb with cities, any major city within a 200-mile radius around the property, definitely add it to the cities. Think of the travel agent and when they're booking. The guest is basically calling into a travel agent and they're saying, I want to stay at this city. You want your hotel to populate if it is a major city. So we like to basically do that 200-mile radius. Do know that the distance will show. So the travel agent will be able to give the distance, but you definitely want to be able to capture that guest should they want to basically stay in your area.
So we definitely want to add like Anaheim in here. You said within 200 miles?
Absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah, so we definitely want to add Anaheim in here. That's a big attraction here.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, and to add a new city, all you're going to do is you're going to click Add New City. You can basically pick from the list. And you said Anaheim?
Yes.
Anaheim, perfect. Do you know the distance from Anaheim from the hotel?
No, I would say maybe, no, I top of my head, I don't know.
Okay. So I'm just going to put, I'm going to add it, but we'll put basically a period to get through it. And then we'll do a period here and then add new city just to kind of get it surfaced. Definitely encourage you, it's not going to let me do that. Once we get the distance, we'll add it. I definitely encourage you to go through this list, add any of those major cities. That way they can populate to the GDS.
Google Maps says it's 33.7 miles away.
33.7, perfect, perfect, perfect. There you go. Anaheim's definitely added. So most of the city codes are actually in the system already. If you're missing any sort of city code and it's requesting you to add a city code, typically we will use the airport city code and or we'll utilize the first three letters of the city. So those are typically the city codes. So you can definitely feel free to add those if it's asking. Most of the cities have city codes already in there, so you won't have to worry about that. Next is going to be your airport. So within airports, we have the same rule of thumb, 200-mile radius around the property, any major airport that you think the guest would book. You definitely want to make sure it's added. So currently right now, currently right now you guys have 4 pretty good airports. If there's any other that you can think of, feel free to add it to this list. Very similar to cities, you're going to go add new airport. You're going to click find. You can pick your airport from our list. Once you select it, it'll bring the information down, and then you can add the driving directions and then add the airport to your list. So the next tab I want to point out is going to be your reference points tab. This is also extremely crucial to capturing additional GDS reservations. So this is the guest that's coming to the travel agent that's booking based on a reference point. So they're telling the travel agent they want to go to UCLA or so on and so forth. Any major reference points within your area, which you guys are in LA, correct? That's where the hotel's located?
Yeah, I believe that's correct.
Yeah, okay. So you guys have quite a bit of reference points that you can reference. I encourage anything and everything that you could think that the guest would look at or look for, add it to this list. So the first thing, oh, you have it, because it was like, I used to work for Disney. First thing that came to mind was Disneyland, but I'm glad to see that it's on that list. That way, if a guest does go to a travel agent, your property will pop up if they're searching that reference point.
And Ricardo, you're there. Should we add things like the Hollywood sign? I've seen that there's lots of tours that are affiliated with the Hollywood sign. While you're there, will you just get a list of things that maybe we should add?
Yes.
Do you mind?
Yeah, and that Guitar Center right across the street.
Definitely. Definitely, yeah. Those are key things that, again, you think of a family who's going to book from a travel agent, they're going to mention that's where they want to go when they're going to LA, and you want your hotel to populate as an option. So guys, next, let's look at amenities. So currently right now, we've got a couple amenities for property. These are property-specific amenities. I do encourage that if there are more amenities on property, feel free to add it to this list. All you're going to do is you're going to go to add more amenities. You're going to pick from the designated dropdown, select the amenity, and add it. With this section, again, definitely want to emphasize the fact that these are property-specific amenities. There is a separate section for room type amenities. So if you guys have more amenities, feel free to come in and start adding them within this list. And it's definitely a great selling feature. So next is going to be meeting information.
Let me ask you this.
Oh,
Would we put food and beverage information there too, or does that only go down in the dining information?
You definitely would want to. So I would add it within this section as well because it can surface on the booking engine, also on the call center, as an option. So it's definitely something that can be added. The dining information typically only shows on GDS, and it'll also show call center as well.
But we would want to put it under amenities as well, like on-site restaurant, on-site bar,
Totally.
things like that.
Totally.
Okay. Okay.
Absolutely. Yep.
I saw there was a separate section for that, so I thought, I don't know if it's appropriate to add it in both, but the more
Nope,
information, the better.
Totally right. Totally right. You definitely want to make sure that the guest is aware, and these actually show up really, really nicely on the booking engine. So the guest can basically click on designated amenities, see the list of amenities that you guys have. Do know that your top 10 amenities are going to surface onto the booking engine, so you want to make sure that your top 10 are your most sellable amenities.
So if like our rooftop bar was the biggest amenity, we want that to be number one.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Yep. Awesome. Any other questions on amenities, guys?
Nope, I apologize. Thank
No.
you.
No, please don't apologize. I love questions, so feel free to just interrupt me. I told you we're gonna have fun, guys, so you guys absolutely can do that. I'm A-okay with it. So guys, next is gonna be the meeting information section. So within meeting information, this does surface on the GDS as well, as also on the call center. So if you guys do have any sort of meeting information, please, please, please go in and add this. You're gonna add your total meeting rooms, your measurement of the meeting rooms, and any sort of general information for that. When you click on the
Yeah, we
meeting
don't-
rooms tab, oh, go
Yeah,
on.
we don't
Sorry,
have any, we don't have meeting room.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So we can kind of bypass this section and let's
Yeah.
go into the dining information. So you guys did mention you have a restaurant. So this is basically going to be where you're going to highlight that restaurant. So any sort of information on the restaurant, feel free to add it. Do you guys offer any sort of room service or a lobby coffee service or anything like that?
Yeah, we do.
You do?
I was going to say, we're going to have to defer to you, Ricardo. We've not been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do the room service.
Okay.
And I know we've got a room, I know we've got a rooftop bar. Is the restaurant open for all meals or is it just open for breakfast?
And dinner.
Breakfast and dinner, okay.
Yeah. So that might be some information that you want to highlight for dining information. Just kind of indicating to the guest. Again, just like you said, the more information you can get out there, the better. That way there's no question. But that's definitely some things you can add within this section to kind of get it out to the guests so that they're aware. So guys, next let's look at your child age groups. So child age groups were built specifically for certain property management systems. The purpose of child age groups is to basically allow for child age buckets. So say that you have a rate for children 0 through 10, and then there's a separate rate for children 10 through 15. This is going to be where you're going to categorize those. At the moment, do you guys utilize that?
I don't think so.
Okay. Perfect, perfect. So if not, we can kind of bypass that section. If you do choose to kind of go down that strategy or go down that rate strategy, definitely reach out to Room Master to make sure that it's accepted. Because last thing we want is for a reservation to be booked with multiple children at a different rate and the reservation fails on the Room Master side. So definitely want to reach out to them to let them know, just to be aware. So the next section we're going to cover is going to be your policies section. Within the policies section, this is going to be where your general policies live, your cancellation, guarantee, credit card, your travel agent commission, all of that's going to live within this section. Let's first click on general policies. So currently right now, you guys are utilizing, based off of what I was seeing, you guys are utilizing the general policies perfectly. So you've got your parking charge of $22 US per night.
Oh, that's wrong.
35.
Oh, that's wrong.
35.
I was going to say, that's wrong.
Perfect. Let's change that right now. Perfect. Perfect. 35. And then there, early slash late check-in, slash checkout available. Is there a fee may apply? Is there a fee associated? Do you want to put the fee?
No, because it really depends on what rate they're paying. Because we'll do 50% of the rates if they check out
Okay.
late. So
Perfect. Perfect. So we'll leave it as is. I also see no pets allowed, which is perfect. Perfect. For any sort of negotiated rates, it's call the hotel and it provides the hotel number. And then your corporate, extended stay, so on is the same. And
It is.
government rates, valid with a government ID required. Perfect, perfect. I did notice that there's no oversell policy. So do you guys currently have an oversell policy in place?
If we don't, we should.
Definitely, just to be safe.
Is that, now who does this information go to? Just the travel agent, or does this go out on the website?
This will go on the web page. So it goes on the web page, and it also surfaces on the GDS as well.
I'm not sure if it's something we would want published on the website, is it?
You definitely don't have to. I do know, working on from the OTA side of things, it did create a little bit more of a comfort just in case that the guests knew that they were aware if there was a situation that popped up. Now, fingers crossed, working on the hotel side as well, you typically don't want that situation to ever pop up. But just in case, I mean, the guest is aware and they know that they're going to be taken care of. It does look good, but it's totally up to you guys how you want to do it.
That's honestly up to y'all. Giselle, Ricardo, what do you guys think?
Yeah, it's a toss-up. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know if I want it listed.
We can always come back and revisit this. Let's
Absolutely.
talk about it offline and then come back and revisit it.
Absolutely. Perfect, perfect. So also your travel agent, it's the same information as above. Call the hotel for availability. So we'll save that information. Should you have any other adjustments to this, feel free to come into this. This is all customizable. So guys, next is going to be your family plan. So currently for the family plan, we have children under 14 years of age stay free with an accompanied adult. Does that look correct?
I'm assuming yes.
Yep, perfect, perfect. So we can move right past that and we'll go into the pet policy section. So as stated in general information, we also have a pet policy section as well, which is no pets allowed.
No pets allowed, but there's a $150
I was
deposit.
about to sit there and say, do we want to remove that?
Oh,
Let's get rid of that. Are you guys okay with me getting rid of that?
I'm going to say yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Ricardo, we don't, unless we've made a decision to accept pets. Ricardo, do you know anything one way or the other?
We do not accept pets.
Okay, then let's take it out.
Perfect. I'm going to save that and we're good to go. So guys, next is going to be your cancellation policy. So do know you can have as many cancellation policies as you want built. Currently at the moment, the hotel's got 3 cancellation policies. You've got an advanced purchase policy. You've got your standard 48-hour cancellation policy. And then it looks like there's a Priceline policy associated to the account as well. So to adjust your cancellation policy, you're going to click on the designated policy, and then you can adjust the verbiage and or the terms based on that policy. Do know that your default policy is basically going to be your master policy. The only way that the default policy will be trumped is if a policy is assigned to property level and or assigned to a rate code at a specific date, and those are date driven. So that's the only time the default policy will be trumped. If there is no policy associated to property or associated to a rate code, this will be the policy that the hotel is basically going to abide by.
So can you show us how we would do so if we had a special event, say the Grammys, and we needed to make an entire section of dates, prepaid, non-cancelable, non-refundable, how would we do that?
Absolutely. So you can go in, you can do a create new.
Mm-hmm.
You can name the policy. So we can name it
Special event or?
Yep, let's do that. Special event. You're going to basically do the policy details. So in this case, it's going to be like a non-refundable, correct?
Yes, that is just an example, but yes.
Okay. So we can do cancel by $9.99. And what is your typical check-in time? I think it was 3, correct?
3 p.m.
3. I'm in 3 p.m. Cancel penalty is 100%. To avoid a penalty of 100%. So that's basically a non-refundable, where basically the guest is gonna, if they cancel, they pay in full.
But we could change that, so it didn't say at least 9 days prior. We could change the wording to
Totally
say
can.
prepaid,
Totally can.
non-cancelable, non-refundable. Okay. Is there anything in this that tells the customer that it is prepaid and we're gonna charge their card in advance?
Yep, this will actually surface to the booking engine. So if all the policies, all cancellation and guarantee policies will surface to the booking engine, so the guest is fully aware upon the checkout process.
Like, because right here, I don't see anywhere where it says we're going to charge their card at the time of booking.
So that's going to be built into your guarantee policy.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. So on the guarantee policy, we've got a prepaid policy right here. Payment equal to 100% of your total stay is required to confirm your reservation. This is the prepaid required credit card at time of booking. So this does surface on the booking engine so that the guest is aware. Also with this, in this policy, you have the ability, should you want to assign it for the Grammys, you can actually assign it to property. You'd create new policy. You would pick your policy from here. So your prepaid policy, you'd pick the date that you want to assign it to, create, and it will be the master policy for that designated date.
Awesome. Thank you.
Absolutely. So also, guys, I do want to point out the channel control section. So your channel control section, you do need to make sure that your policies are channeled out to the booking engine. If there is any sort of wonkiness or you don't see it currently channeled out, definitely come into your channel control area and channel it out. So currently right now, I don't see any policies channeled out. Your guarantee policy right now reads this. So let's look at that policy and we'll get it channeled out. So currently right now your guarantee policy is a valid credit card is required to confirm your reservations. Does that look correct for your default policy?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you mind if I channel it out?
Please.
Yes,
Okay.
please.
Perfect. I will get this channeled out right now. And then I'm going to channel it to TripAdvisor as well, just because we have that as an offer. And
when you say channel out, what because we are getting some bookings from GDS,
okay,
and they are booking. So what does this mean by channeling it out?
Basically, we're making this your policy, so they can still book. They're just not aware of the policy.
Okay.
So what this is doing is this is surfacing it on the designated channels, as well as getting it on the booking engine. That way the guest is fully aware of what the policy is.
Got it.
Also, because I noticed that on your guarantee policy, I'm going to double check your cancellation policy just to make sure we have a policy channeled as well. So we do not, so I'm going to take care of that as well. Just to be on the safe side. There you go.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So guys, let's look over the credit cards you have available for the property. So currently right now, we've got American Express, we have Diners Club, Discover, the JCB, also MasterCard, and Visa. Does this all look correct?
I'm assuming so. Hold on. I've not heard of most of those other ones, so
Yep.
I don't know if anybody even has JCB and Diners anymore, but I know we likely accept them.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know about the. Oh no, do you have that one checked off? Japanese.
It's usually called JCB everywhere, Ricardo, because I looked at that too, like,
Okay.
wait, what? But I have heard of the JCB, yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I've never heard of the disco. That's weird.
Do what,
Do you want me to?
Oh, sorry. I am still frozen on the guarantee policies. Never mind. I see what
Oh.
you're talking about now.
No worries, G. Would you like me to uncheck JCB, or do you want to keep it there just as a safety net? This isn't going to
No,
hurt
I think
anything.
it's fine. I think it's
Okay.
a pretty standard across most of the big brands too, so.
Definitely. And
You just don't
honestly,
see very many people holding those cards anymore, that or Diners Club.
yeah, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. And really what this is doing is once you check this box, this is taking the card image and it's surfacing it on the booking engine. So like the Visa card image, it just puts it on the booking engine. Do know that Windsurfer CRS is not a payment portal, so we aren't collecting the funds. We're merely just taking the credit card from the guest and sending it to your property management system so you guys can do the charge. So guys, next let's look at your extra charges. These are going to be specific extra charges to the GDS, also any sort of extra charges for rollaway beds and cribs. So at the moment, we've got an extra adult charge of $25. Your rollaway charge are going to be $25 and your crib charges are $10. Does that look correct?
I have to confirm
Not
back
sure
with
about
the-
that.
Yeah.
Can you
I
have
to confirm that.
somebody check the, yeah.
Yep. So what we can do, just be aware that this is on there. If you guys do want to come in and adjust it and get it changed, all you're going to do is you're going to come to property description, policy, extra charges, and you can adjust it accordingly. So next is going to be your travel agent commission. So travel agent commission, the industry standard is going to be 10% commission. It looks like at the moment we have you guys set as 10% commission. Should you guys have any sort of other agreements with travel agencies for any more commission, this is where going to be where you're going to add it. So you're going to go in and create new. You're going to add the name of the commission, the percentage. Once you have the top information filled out, you can do recommend for me. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull this information down into a nice scripted little description that will populate out to the GDSs. Once you have those commissions set, you have the ability to assign it to a rate code within this section. We also can assign it to a rate code on the rate management section as well. So there's two places you can do it. So guys, next is going to be your room type section. This is going to be where all your room types are going to live. Do know that room types have to be created on both the PMS and the CRS. And very similar to your rate codes, we want to make sure that your room type codes are matching. So if you have any sort of adjustments to the room types, this is going to be where you guys are going to make those adjustments. One of the things that I noticed when I was just kind of combing through the property is there are no room type descriptions. I do recommend to get the room type descriptions added because those are surfacing on the booking engine. And that's also key to basically attract the guests to the designated room, especially for the ones that are looking for what's in the room. So this is an easy opportunity to capture that. Also, once you add your description to the booking engine, you're going to want to click on this multi-channel section as well. And this is going to be your GDS description. Do know that the GDS description is, again, character limit. So you want to make it very, very short, but also what's going to sell the room the best. So you'll notice we basically have non-smoking. We typically like to do the bed type of the room. And then if there's Wi-Fi and or any other amenities, we'll add that there. One of the other things I noticed on the channel control is not all your room types are channeled out to all the channels. So, and I immediately kind of went to the assumption maybe that this was a strategy that you guys were using, or did you guys want all your room types channeled out to the designated channels?
I wouldn't see any reason why we wouldn't want them designated out, would y'all?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I would assume that we would want all of our room types out there.
I would
Yeah.
too.
Oh,
Okay, let's get those added out there. And we're gonna just go to each one and sell it all. Now,
Yeah.
the double rooms, you've got quite a bit of double rooms. I noticed it wasn't added at all to any channel.
Oh my God!
do you know why? And what's the reasoning why it's not checked off?
So typically the reasoning is either somebody went in and wanted it removed and or there could be multiple reasons. So typically when, so I'm coming from, before I came into training and development, I was on the implementations team. One of the things for all of our installs is we do double check to make sure all room types are channeled out. And if they're not, we encourage the hotel to basically unchannel. But honestly, it does not hurt to channel a room out there because the only way the room is selling is based on the rate code. And it's an easy opportunity, especially if you've got quite a bit of double rooms, you want to get those sold. So it's an easy opportunity to get it channeled out and get those sold. So if you guys are okay, I'm going to get this out and selling for you guys.
Thank you.
Absolutely, absolutely. The king looks good. Your suite rooms. And then your double rooms. Perfect. So now all your room types are now channeled out to the designated channels. Within this room type section, you do have the ability to add photos to your room types. So you guys said you were going through a new photo shoot. Definitely, once you get those room photos, this is going to be where you're going to add it. So at the moment, there are no photos associated. Oh, there's a couple photos, but not every room type has a photo associated to it. So I definitely encourage, once you get those room photos, go in here and add those. Super simple to add. You're going to go to upload new image and add it to the designated room type. If the image is already in the multimedia section, you can go to use existing multimedia and get it added and attached to the room type as well.
Nice.
Also, we have the amenities section right here for your hotel amenities. This amenities section is room type specific amenities. So currently right now, for your room types, let's look at all. It looks like we've got quite a bit of amenities added to your designated, your specific room types. If there are any other amenities that you want to get added to this list, feel free.
Hey, Ricardo, while you're there, are you still there? I think he had to jump off. We've got
I'm on. I'm here.
Will you let us know, because it didn't list like an alarm clock and ironing board for all the room types. Will you let us know if all that stuff that's standard is in every room, and if so, we'll just add that to every room type?
I will check. Definitely will.
Because that one a minute ago just said internet access was the only thing in the room. I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yep.
Thanks, sir.
Perfect. Awesome. So guys, once you go and add your amenities in there, again, if you want to modify and or adjust any sort of room types, you do have the ability to modify what's currently in the system. You can pick your designated room type, and then you can modify the category, modify the name. Again, the biggest thing that I encourage not to modify is going to be your room type code. If you do modify the room type code, you do need to modify it on the property management system as well, just so it has the mapping. So next, let's go into guest preferences. So guest preferences was created to allow the hotels to have the option to offer a guest specific amenities. So say that the guest wants to book a room on a high floor, or book a room by an elevator or a vending machine. This is going to be where you're going to create those specific amenities. What this does is this surfaces on the booking engine, and it allows the guest to pick and choose those amenities. One of the things with guest preferences, it's a really, really cool tool, but you do want to double check with your property management system to make sure that they support it, because all guest preferences will show up on the reservation, and it does get pushed up into the property management system. If the property management system doesn't recognize, the reservation could potentially fail. So you definitely want to double check if you're going to utilize this. If RoomMaster does not support it and you would like them to support it, encourage them to reach out to our product team, and our product team is more than happy to work with their development team to get that supported. So guys, next we're going to go over the branding section. So this section, there's a couple tabs I want to point out. So first is going to be your itinerary configuration tab. Within the itinerary configuration tab, this is where you're basically going to enable discount codes. If you want to enable group codes, you can enable that as well. Smoking preferences, you have the ability to enable that. All of that will surface on your booking engine. The key thing that I like to point out is going to be this calendar feature. What this does is this actually creates the rate and brings the rate on the calendar. I do want to point out that this rate code is whatever rate code you have in sort order 1. So typically it is not your lowest available rate. So if you do want to basically incentivize the guest to purchase basically an advanced purchase rate code or so on and so forth, I would recommend taking it off of the calendar. That way the guest just basically picks the view and the designated rate codes that are available for that day do surface. If you like it and you're okay with it basically sorting whatever rate code is in rate code 1, which is typically your bar rate, we can definitely keep it on.
I don't know, G, what do you think? Take it off?
I would think so.
Yeah, let's take it off.
Take it off? Okay.
Yeah.
It's definitely something we like to basically point out, because once it's off, the calendar, in my mind, the calendar is very clean. I mean, it looks super nice, and it really just kind of incentivizes the guest to pick its dates. And then once they pick the dates, the rate values will populate. So it's not that the calendar is misleading, but it can potentially be misleading, because they'll look at a date saying that it's this rate when in actuality it's probably a little bit higher, and or it's for a AAA rate code, which they can't.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask you. Is I was trying to shop the hotel the other day, and how do you, if you're trying to get a AAA rate or an AARP rate or a senior rate, how do you do that? Where do you see that?
Yeah, so there's 2 areas that you can do it. So most hotels will actually populate AAA or AARP directly onto the booking engine, while also putting that stipulation that you do have to be a member and or supply the AAA card and so on and so forth. A lot of our hotels will also restrict the rate. So let's look at your AAA rate code really fast to see what it looks like. So do you guys have a AAA rate code?
One would assume, but
Okay, yep.
never assume. Can you try senior? Can you try senior or AARP?
Yep.
There is no senior code. There is only AAA, and there is no government.
But he didn't even see AAA.
There should be a AAA, but I'm not sure if it's pushed out to the OPAs. That's another one we want to kind of put out.
But if it's not in here, it's not.
Yeah, so it's probably not. There it is.
Well, yep. So
no, he's creating that.
Creating it. Yep.
Oh, never mind.
And do know, if the rate code is built on the property management system, because rate codes do not push down from Room Master, it also needs to be built on the Windsurfer side. So as long as your AAA rate code, which is this section right here, matches on Room Master, the rates will flow down.
It is AAA, so that is the correct rate code.
Perfect. Let's create it.
Wow.
Perfect. So right when we created that new rate code, I'm going to show you guys the mapping section so you guys can see. This is kind of a back-end area. Any new rate code that's created will automatically get mapped. So, come on, computer. So mapping, and then we can go into the rate code section. Oh, it's AAA. Perfect. Now it's mapped. So these are basically indicating that the rate codes, these are all of our mapped rate codes, and they're now associated to the designated mappings on the PMS side. So any values for this specific rate code now will flow through.
So does that show up on the website now that a AAA rate is available?
It will. It will.
Okay.
So
I wondered that. I was like, where do I go and look? Because it even said, you know, you could put in a code, but I was like, I don't even know what code to put in. So I tried AAA and that didn't work. Now I know why.
So, yep, we do actually have several clients of ours that do actually hide the rate. By hiding the rate, or they restrict the rate, excuse me, by restricting the rate, what that's doing is that's removing it from the booking engine, and it's incentivizing the guest to type in a code. I typically don't like to do that with AAA and AARP, because any guest who's going to book the AAA and AARP rate understands the specifications to book that rate. So it's really not something you need to hide. Now, there are some hotels that just want to do it just as a safety net, and most of the guests will come up here type in AAA once it's restricted, and the rate will populate. So you can do both. Play around with it. If you do feel like you need to hide it, super simple. Just restrict it, save, and it should be good to go.
Okay. Now, I noticed on the website the higher rate was the number one. Is that because we don't have them sorted properly, where the lowest rate should be first and then the highest?
That's correct. Yep. So at the moment, your rate code sort is listed below. So your moment package is listed in ranking 1. So that's going to be the first rate code that's basically going to populate. Should you want your bar rate code to populate first, all you need to do is click on bar. You can adjust the sort right here, save it, and it'll push it up.
Oh.
We got our work cut out for us, G.
No joke.
The good thing is, guys, so we here at SHR and your account manager and the support team, and even myself, you've got another resource, we're here to help you guys. So you let us know what we can do to assist and help, and we'll help basically assist in driving that forward. So you can see the AAA rate code is now populating on all your room types.
Nice.
That is too cool.
Yep. Perfect, perfect. So guys, another thing I want to point out within the branding section is going to be your field configuration section. So your field configuration section, what this is actually the template used at the checkout process. So this is what's going to show on the guest template for checkout. Should there be anything that you want added, you can definitely make sure to publish it, and it'll get added to that file. And that way the guest can fill it out. Do know anything that's required, the guest will not be able to move past it if it's not filled out. Also know that each one of these are labels. So within Windsurfer on the back end, we do have the ability to adjust these labels. So if these don't fit to anything you want or need, let us know or let your account manager know, and they'll be able to go in and get that fixed and adjusted. So the last tab I want to point out is going to be your IBE settings. So this is basically where you can control the look and feel of your booking engine. So currently at the moment, our booking engine is broken up into 4 blocks. You guys are utilizing the first 2 blocks for your room types and rate packages. There's several different options in regards to a layout that we can do for the booking engine. Currently right now, you guys have it as list view. List view, what I like to say, it looks very similar to like an OTA type of style. We also have a really cool view, and it's the grid view. What the grid view does is it cleans it up a little bit. If you think about it, the guest is basically, you're selling your hotel on your web page. You want to get the guest through the booking process as fast as possible once they get to the booking page. So cleaning up the booking page, making it look just simple and easy to get through, does help push the guest through that process and get them in the door faster. So when I was looking through your page, one of the things that came to mind that first popped out, you guys have some really nice photos and they're very, very clear. But I would almost, and this is totally, you guys shoot it down if you want, I would almost push your packages up and move your room types down and make your packages to get in that first block. That way you're selling those features. And you can utilize it and gain additional revenue, because with packages it tends to be a little bit more pricey, and it's more of kind of that experience. That way there's more revenue in the door. Currently right now your room types are selling first, so it is a little bit deceiving, and it's the first thing the guest sees when they get onto the page. Should you want to get that adjusted, you would go in and adjust your blocks right here. If you do like grid view versus list view, this is going to be where you're going to change it as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Also, absolutely. Also, one of the things we do have in this section is featured products. So what featured products are is this actually takes a specific rate code and or package and it brings it all the way to the top. It also amplifies that rate code. So this is an easy way to basically sell a specific, say you have a specific package for an event or so on and so forth. This is an easy way to basically incentivize people to book that package by really amplifying it and make it stand out all the way at the top of the page. Also, a couple things at the bottom that I do like to point out. So currently right now, you guys have enabled the calendar at rate details page. What this is doing is this is bringing the calendar on this page. So once the guest has decided that they like, 2 seconds. Let's try that one more time. Sorry. I may need to take, that's an action item for me. Typically when a rate code populates up, if the calendar is enabled, the calendar will pop up on that designated rate code. That way the guest can basically adjust and change the dates. I'm going to take that offline and I'll notify you guys because it should be working. Another feature that is I want to point out is the reduced clicks to book. Have you guys heard about this feature before?
No.
Okay, so what this is, typically it takes the guest 6 steps to get to the booking process, get through the booking process. This reduces it down to 3 steps to get through the booking process. So it quickly gets that guest through, that way they're not lost and or they forget about the booking and don't finish it all the way through. So this is a cool feature. Should you guys want to get the guests through the booking process faster, this is a cool feature to enable. Also, your rooms left upper limits and rooms sold lower limit, those are just persuasive messaging. So what's going to happen is any rooms left, once you hit 5, there's going to be a message that's basically going to populate. That'll basically say this room's popular, book this room, it's almost sold out. Any rooms sold, once you hit 10, there's another message that's going to pop up as well. So feel free to play around with the adjustments of those numbers and see what works best for your hotel. It's really, really kind of a cool feature, and it does incentivize guests to book. So guys, we have a couple more things. So we went over a little bit in rate management. Do you guys have any other questions on the rate code section in rate management?
Not on that part.
Okay, perfect, perfect. So let's move down to, so I'm going to skip over season rate. What season rate is this is actually allowing you guys to add rates should you not be in a, or should you not have a connection to property management system. Since you guys are connected to property management system, Room Master will actually be where you're going to load your rates and push them down into Windsurfer. One of the cool things that we can do though is rate overwrite. So what rate overwrite is this will actually allow you to overwrite a suggestion coming down from the property management system. So say by accident, there is a 0 value rate surfacing on the, or there's a $1 rate surfacing on the OTAs, which is crazy, and the OTAs will book it like crazy. If that ever happens, you do want to act fast and get that removed. All you have to do, you can click on your designated room type where the rate is surfacing. You can either adjust the rate and or you can click revert. By reverting the rate, what that's doing is that's wiping whatever the suggestion is from the PMS, wiping it clean and taking it off all sites. That way it's not sellable anymore. Do know that if you do revert the rate, you do need to make sure that you get it adjusted on the property management system side as well. And the reasoning for that is because of if it's not adjusted on the property management system side and the property management system does a resync, it will get pushed down to the system again. So you definitely want to make sure once it's reverted to get it adjusted on both systems. So next, let's look over the discount section. So this is going to be where you can create some discounts. So currently right now, it looks like you guys are working with discounts, which is great. There's 2 things that you can do with a discount. You can assign a discount to a rate code. You can also do it as a discount code. So discount codes do surface, or there is a spot on the booking engine to book a discount code. And it is right here. So these are great for any sort of marketing solicitations, loyalty guests, any sort of packages that you want to get out. You can do a marketing solicitation with a discount code. The guest can type in that discount code right here, apply it to their folio, and the discount will be applied.
And how do you do a discount code? So is that just something that we come up with, or?
Yep, it's absolutely up to you guys as to what you want the discount code to be. I've seen people do it summer, for like summer discounts and so on and so forth. So you guys have the ability to adjust it and make it.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep. So next is going to be market segment. This is basically, do you guys utilize market segments at all?
We do, although it's not very well at the moment.
Okay. So should you want to start to build market segments in Windsurfer, you absolutely have the ability to. All you're going to do is click on Create New. You're going to add your basically market segment, save, and it is going to populate it to the market segment list. Once you add your market segments, what's going to happen is you can go into your rate codes and you can start to distinguish your rate codes based on those designated market segments. So there'll be another tab that populates called market segments right here, and you can start to categorize your rate codes accordingly. And last but not least, within the rate management section is going to be your access code section. So your access codes are utilized for, typically I've seen access codes utilized for corporate business. So should you have, it looks like you currently are utilizing a couple access codes at the moment. All access codes can be picked up on your booking engine. When you click enter it now, you can type in your promo code right here, enter your group code right here. We also have the ability, again, these are labels, we can change it. So should you start to utilize access codes more, we do have the ability to switch to one of these labels and type it as an access code. That way it's a little bit more clear for the guest, should you want.
So if we had a company and we wanted to have that company book correctly or directly, it would be through that access code?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, gotcha.
Yep, absolutely correct. The cool thing about access codes as well is you can create as many access codes as you want, and you can also associate them to a rate. So I have a hotel that I was working on an implementation a while back that is based in Hawaii. They've got over 500 access codes, and all of those access codes are associated to one rate code. This is going to be where you're going to build those. So once you start to basically build those codes, you can assign it to a rate code through here. Once the guest types in that designated access code at the top, that rate code will populate. And it's really, really cool because it's a nice, clean looking page. It's a rate code page for that designated guest. So it looks like they're on kind of a special page.
Nice, okay.
So guys, next there's a couple things I want to talk about in regards to inventory management. Most of your inventory is actually going to be coming from your property management system. The two things I do want to talk about are going to be your allotments and your sell limits. So allotments allow you to allot designated inventory out to a specific rate code. So say that you want to kind of control your OTAs a little bit in regards to how many room types they're selling. This is going to be where you're going to do it. To set an allotment, you're going to go in and do update. You're going to pick your room type, pick your rate code, and then the date you want to basically set it and save. What this is going to do is this is basically going to put the allotted amount on here. You can also track to see how many rooms are sold. Once it hits that amount, it will stop selling the room.
Nice. Okay.
Same thing goes for sell limits. So sell limits, this is basically setting a limit on how many things you want to sell as well. Very similar to allotments. For sell limits, you're going to go into update. You're going to pick your rate code, room type, set your limit. Also, it's going to track that limit and it will stop selling as well. So these are great if you do want to start to control your inventory a little bit more. These are great ways to do it, especially for those OTAs. So next section is going to be your dashboard section. This is going to be the quick synopsis of what is selling when. So currently, let's look at the bar rate. So at the moment, here's the bar rate. Again, anything in red indicates that it's not available. Your yellow is close to sold out. If it's coming in green, green indicates that it's actually coming from the property management system. So this is an easy indicator that your property management system is pushing down this rate. If it shows up in white, this is a rate that's generated in Windsurfer.
Okay.
So next is going to be availabilities. So availabilities is where your restrictions are going to come into play. All restrictions do need to be set up on Room Master. But should you want to check just kind of a quick synopsis of the restrictions coming down, you can go into View All. and you can look at every restriction coming down from Windsurfer. You also have the ability to sort it based on the designated restrictions as well. Should you need to add a new restriction, you're going to go to the specific restriction type. In this case, it's a property restriction. You do have the ability to add a restriction based on room type, room class. You can also do rate code and also channel as well. Once you click on your designated category, you're going to go to update. You're going to pick the restriction from our list of restrictions, pick your date, submit, and it'll get added to the property. I do encourage adding restrictions through the property management system first and allowing the restrictions to come down. And the reason for this is if the restriction is not living in the property management system, it will get wiped clean from Windsurfer once the property management system does a resync. So just be super careful with that.
Okay.
So groups, packages, and add-ons. Let me double check. I don't think Room Master supports that.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing. They said any packages or what have you that we load through Windsurfer, we would have to build that, or I'm sorry, not in Windsurfer, that we build in Room Master, we would have to build independently on Windsurfer.
Correct. And one of the things that I would recommend for packages, and it looks like you guys are kind of already doing it already, build it as a rate code. So our packages surface on the booking engine very similar to rate code surface as well. So it surfaces that nice little block, and or if you have list view, it's going to surface just with the title. So basically how you guys are doing it, definitely recommend to kind of keep that way because it looks nice and clean and it acts very similar. Also, you can track rate codes as well, very similar to how you can track packages. So we're going to go down into the reservation tab. So there's two features within the reservation tabs that I want to point out. First is going to be your res details section. Within the res detail, this is a detailed synopsis of the designated reservation. You're going to click on the reservation number. You're going to find the itinerary information. You can see guest information, any sort of corporate TA, billing. There's also a reservation log. This reservation log will show you the path of the reservation as to where it was booked, if it was modified, and so on and so forth. Do know all this information does get traveled up to the property management system, but should you ever need to basically be in Windsurfer to look at a reservation, you absolutely have the ability to. You can also cancel the reservation in Windsurfer as well. So you just click cancel. It's going to bring up a box to say, are you sure you want to cancel this reservation? You check that box, and then it removes the reservation out of the system. Rule of thumb with cancellations, any GDS reservations or OTA reservations, you do have the ability to cancel it, but it will not get canceled to the designated OTAs. So if you do go cancel a specific reservation in Windsurfer, all it does is it removes it out of your property management system, but you still need to make sure to notify the designated third parties.
Gotcha.
With GDS reservations cannot be canceled due to the fact that it needs to be canceled through the travel agent.
Okay.
So next is going to be basically the integrated reservations tab. So what integrated reservations tab was built for is technology is fantastic, but sometimes there are glitches in technology. When glitches happen, the reservation potentially could fail to hit the property management system. That is not a problem at all. All you need to do if a reservation has failed is you go in, click your reservation ID, resend it, and that pushes it to the property management system. Do know at the beginning of the training, I pointed out that email, the info@themomenthotel.com. If a reservation fails, they will be the ones that gets notified that the reservation has failed. So they'll be the ones that basically, whoever's monitoring that will definitely need to know to go in to integrated reservation and repush it.
Okay.
So there's a couple more tabs. I know we went quite long, so I'm sorry about that, guys, but there's a couple more things I do want to point out for you guys. I do want to encourage you to come into reports and check out the cool reporting we have in Windsurfer. One of the main things for reporting is going to be your schedule report. So with scheduled report, this actually allows you to take a report and schedule it anytime to get it sent directly to your email. So if there is any report in here that you absolutely like, you can schedule it, send it directly to your email at a specific time frame instead of having to consistently come into Windsurfer to pull it.
Perfect.
Yep. So last two tabs are going to be your marketing and your security tab. Within marketing, there's two things that I want to focus on. One is going to be your third-party web tracking. So within third-party web tracking, this is going to be where we're going to go in and load any sort of Google Analytics, any sort of scripting, and so on and so forth. Do you guys have Google Analytics that you guys participate with?
I'm honestly not too sure. Sarah would be the one that would know, but she had to drop off.
Okay, no worries, no worries. So this is basically, if you guys do decide to participate in Google Analytics, definitely reach out to your client success manager and or our technical support team, and they'll be able to assist in getting that loaded for you guys. Also, another cool feature within this section is going to be your messages tab. What this does is this actually allows you to customize a specific message and send it out to the booking engine. So these messages can be anything from an event happening on property to construction happening on property. Anything you want to get out to the guest, definitely feel free to go in and add their designated message, save it, and then what it does is it populates on the booking engine in a nice kind of banner format and sends it on out. That way the guest is aware.
So basically, any kind of renovations, that's where we would put that in there, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Definitely, definitely. So last tab I want to focus on within this section is going to be your Google Hotel CPA. So Google Hotel CPA, how familiar are you with that listing?
Not at all.
So what that is, Google, being who Google is, decided to jump into the meta search race. And they have allowed for the OTAs to basically surface a rate, but they also are super nice in allowing the hotel to add their web page up on that rate as well. So currently right now, you guys are opted into Google Hotel CPA. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So this is your Google Hotel CPA listing at the moment. Because you guys are opted in to Google Hotel CPA, didn't mean to do that, but because you guys are opted into Google Hotel CPA, you'll notice that your current web page is actually surfaced up against all the OTAs. So this does allow you to capture some additional direct bookings and compete a little bit with the OTAs. Do know any booking that's made from this site, there is a 10% commission charge to it, and that commission charge will be added onto your folio or your invoice at the end of each month. So if you guys do see Google on your invoice, that's where it's coming from.
Gotcha. Okay.
Should you ever want to opt out of it, all you need to do, uncheck this box and basically explain the reason. It does take Google 24 hours to basically do a sync to opt you out. Do know that once you opt out, it does take 11 business days for them to resync you back on. So just kind of be aware of that process. Or I believe it's 11 business days. I'll follow up on that process. But there is a time frame that it takes for you to resurface it back on. So just definitely be aware of that.
Okay.
So last but not least is going to be the security section. This is going to be where you're going to build user profiles. So currently right now we've got 2 users in the system. If you do need to add any more users, you absolutely have the ability to. You can also create user roles. So right now it looks like you've got an admin role, a web vendor role, and a res agent role. Should you want to add any roles, adjust any roles, you can click on the designated roles and adjust it. Some of the things that you can adjust it from full to read only to none. Adding none, it will not allow for that specific area to surface on that role. But it looks like you guys are playing around with this quite a bit, which is excellent. So that is all things Windsurfer in a nutshell. Do you have any questions for me? It was a lot, right?
It's a lot. But yeah, once I kind of play around with it and have a little bit more knowledge in order to ask questions, I definitely will.
Totally, totally. Absolutely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow up with this recording. I'll also send you my information, and I'll also loop in your account manager as well. That way you have their information as well. Should you have any questions anytime here at SHR, definitely feel free to reach out to any one of us, and we'll be able to assist.
So with my role, I'll be able to add other users to this as well, or do I have to submit a service
Nope.
request to have
You
more
have
users? I can do that.
You have full access. So you're going to notice
Perfect.
I currently at the moment do not have access due to
Mhm.
security reasons,
Mhm.
but you as a hotel user will have full access.
Okay, perfect.
Yep.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cool. Well, thank you for jumping on, and I will get this recording sent out. Let me know if there's anything else we can do for you, and you guys have a fantastic Thursday.
All right. Thank you so much, Alex.
Anytime. Have a great day. Thank you, guys.
All righty. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.